Would a potential merger, the creation of a transcontinental that involves CSX, would that create value? What would that proposition look like?
Well, I think, a lot of the conversation's been around the opportunity to increase fluidity and ease of transition at the interchange points. There are lots of ways to go to work on that. We believe there are many different ways you can go to work on that. But let's be clear here, Morgan. The nature of competition forces everyone to have to compete. And so, however how this plays out, we're going to be able to compete, and we'll be able to adapt and be able to take advantage of our great network that we have here at CSX.
Just looking across the industry more broadly right now, I mean, obviously we've seen this administration clear some big deals in other sectors since it took hold. But you also have a Trump administration that's very focused on creating jobs and bringing inflation down. So just looking at consolidation more broadly, the possibility of it across the industry, is there a risk that regulators will say no to it?
Well, certainly we don't know how that will play out. There are definitely, requirements to be met on any kind of consolidation, and the STBs are very clear on that. They've not been tested, so it's going to be a long process if in fact it does start to materialize. Let's be clear, other major stakeholders will have a big voice in all this, whether it's the unions, whether it's customers, other parts of the ecosystem in rail. And we're proud of the relationship we have with all of those different constituencies in rail. We're probably the best customer relationships in the industry. We're probably the best relationship with the unions. So we'll see how it plays out, but clearly there is a regulatory hurdle here to be met, and it will be interesting to see how, if and when that gets discussed, how that plays out.
Yeah, Joe, it's David Faber. I mean, again, on this same subject, if in fact Union Pacific is successful in reaching a deal with Norfolk Southern and they get approvals, doesn't that represent a potential competitive threat to CSX if you remain independent?
Well, it depends on how you would respond to that. As an industry, collectively, there are lots of players in the industry. There's not just two. There's 6 Class 1s, and there's, of course, all the other stakeholders. In addition, as I said earlier, the nature of competition forces opportunity to you to adapt and change. I grew up in the auto industry for 30 years, and we compete every day with some of the best companies in the world, and that competition drives innovation and it drives new solutions. So we have a strong relationship with our customers. We have a strong footprint. We're the strongest in the Southeast. We're the only Class 1 railroad in Florida. I mean, we have a lot of advantages that we could take advantage of. And if, in fact, there were an opportunity to revisit how the interchanges work, we would participate in that and be very innovative and creative in how we did that.
Yeah, well, to the extent you're hearing anything from the government or the STB, I mean, is there, or do you sense that there's a willingness on their part to allow for, or certainly to give a strong hearing to the possibility of these kinds of deals?
I'm not going to speculate on what the government's response would be. We have a great relationship with the STB. In fact, I think one of the strongest in the industry, but I'm not going to speculate on where these would go, because obviously we'll have to see how it plays out.